Hello, welcome to the War Room. My name is Delilah Doda. I'm a junior public relations major, and I am a social media intern with Penn State's undergraduate admissions office.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, Delilah. I'm Katie Motycki, Director for Student Orientation and Transition Programs here at Penn State.
Awesome. What is your role with NSO?
Right. So I'm the Director for Student Orientation and Transition Programs here at Penn State. I've been here at the university since 2013.
Mm.
And in that time, I've always worked in the Student Orientation and Transition Programs office. Our office serves new first time in college students through new student orientation. We also support transfer students and change of campus students, as well as providing Welcome Week programming for the University Park campus. And one of our signature events is President's New Student Convocation.
What is the President's New Student Convocation?
Well, that's a fun treat. At University Park, the President's New Student Convocation is the only time that the entire first year class is in the same spot together.
I did do that.
Yeah, you did. Did you wear a colorful shirt?
Yeah, I think I wore red.
Yeah, red, because you're in the College of Communications. Yeah, so students in the College of Communications, I'm a College of Communications grad, by the way. I also wear a red shirt to convocation. And President's New Student Convocation is where we have the president and the provost and the deans of the colleges, lots of vice presidents, the board of trustees, all join us, and all 9,000 plus of the new students in the Bryce Jordan Center the Saturday before the classes start in the fall semester. And it's really like the kickoff to the academic year. Very pomp and circumstance. There's academic regalia. The university mace is there. And it's an opportunity. But well, like I said, it's the only opportunity that the whole class has to be together because of the size. We come to orientation in small groups. We even when you graduate by academic college. So convocation is really special for that reason. And don't worry for all the parents and families listening. We do live stream it if parents and families want to watch it because we basically fill the Bryce Jordan Center with our
I think
new
my
students.
parents watched it when they were curious.
Yeah.
That's what was going on. They texted me and they were like, "That looks overwhelming." So it actually wasn't that overwhelming. So I ended up meeting a lot of people.
Yeah.
My major.
Yeah. And you probably went with like the people on your floor.
Yeah, I went with my roommate,
Hmm.
and she was a different. I think she was undergraduate.
Oh, she had a purple shirt then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't believe the shirts are so the same though.
The shirts are still the same. We have to keep them the same because tradition is important here,
Mm.
right? So the color shirts really matter from year to year.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just they chose the color.
Well,
First
do
time.
you want me to tell you how we chose the color shirts? Yeah. Okay. So it was chosen before me. I didn't make this decision, but I understand that the committee before me that chose it, the color of the shirt has to do with a color in the doctoral hood of the discipline. So, like you wear red in College of Communications, like red is not a Penn State color, right? But you see the red shirts in College of Communication because that means something in the College of Communications,
Oh, okay.
like
I understand.
terminal degree. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is like a rhyme to the reason,
Right.
reason to the rhyme, whatever that is. Yeah.
So, I guess what people would like to know is what is new student orientation and what does it stand for?
Well, new student orientation is the opportunity that a new first year student has to really start to understand and experience what it means to be a Penn Stater and experience life on campus. They get to come to campus for a new student orientation visit. That's probably like the hallmark of new student orientation. But in addition to that, they have an opportunity to meet with an academic advisor, schedule their classes, and learn many, many, many things about their academic life, their social life, and the myriad of opportunities that are here for them as a Penn State student.
Awesome. So, what would you say like the main goal of orientation is? Because I know there's a lot of different aspects of it, but what do you hope that students gain from it?
I really hope that students are coming um, to orientation feeling prepared and ready for probably like the first 6 weeks of the semester,
Mhm.
right? There's so much here at Penn State for students to know and to do and to experience. And one of the things that I try to say at new student orientation is like, if we were going to teach you every single thing that you needed to know about being a Penn State student, it would probably take us 4 years to do it,
Mhm.
which is about how long it could take you to get your degree, right?
Right.
Um, but really, what I hope is that when a student leaves orientation, they leave knowing um, a bit about the resources that are available to them. Because again, we can't possibly teach them about everything. But not only a bit about what's available, but also how to help themselves. Like maybe knowing a few key people about who they can ask a question to, whether that's the academic advisor or a member of the orientation team or someone that they just made a connection with while they were here, someone in student aid or undergraduate admissions, that the connections, or maybe more importantly, most importantly, another new student who's here, right? So the connections that they can make with other people while they're here and to those resources can really help to make a very, very, very large place
Mhm.
seem so small. One of my favorite things to say during orientation is I always ask students to turn and meet someone that they haven't talked to yet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you have to do that. And like, okay, that's the easiest thing that you can do. You don't have to get out of your chair. And I usually give you a prompt. The prompt is probably tell me about your high school mascot. Did you have a high school mascot?
I did a blue eagle, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine was a
Mhm.
cougar, right? So now we can just like the
Right,
ice is broken. We can talk about it.
right.
So asking people to talk about something that's like very low stakes and very safe,
Mhm.
but opens up the door for us to then talk means that you might be one of those friendly faces that I see on campus. Because when we come to orientation, um, we're here in the summertime. State College in the summertime is an awesome place to be,
Mhm.
but it is not anywhere near the population of what it is in the whole
Mhm.
in like the academic year, right? So if you can make a connection with someone at orientation and have a friendly face or two,
Mhm.
imagine what how that makes you feel on the first day of class when it's 9:55 and all the classes just let out on a Monday and there's like 20,000 people walking down Pollock Road, right? And
Right.
that's super overwhelming. But if you can make a couple of those connections or like feel like you know where you're going, which is another side effect of new student orientation, a side effect, a good side effect is that you get to come to campus. And right, we tell you come prepared to walk a long distance.
A
Like
while.
you are going to walk. Yes,
Yeah.
the building that you need to go to next is 20 minutes, and we
Mhm.
have built a 20-minute walk into the schedule. So you also can't like dilly dally, right? You got to move while you're going because you have to. If you got to go with
Mhm.
purpose.
And it would help me because when I was in, I had my new student orientation like the overnight in Pollock,
Mhm.
and then my building was right across the way, so I kind of already knew where I was going,
Yeah,
like dorm wise and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah.
so it was helpful for me.
Yeah, that's great. So we don't always use buildings in Pollock for the overnight stay. We kind of like just move around based on what's available and what
Mhm.
kind of meets all of our needs. But it's the overnight stay is a big part in helping people feel connected and also knowing like how the dining hall works and where to go. Like we were really trying to give you as students a little slice of what it's like to be a Penn
And
State
where it's
student.
gonna
Have a
be.
roommate, gets to a place on time, have to navigate the campus, all that kind of good stuff. I was just telling someone earlier today that there are like basically two things you have to do as a Penn State student, and one is come to new student orientation because that's the only way you can get your first semester class schedule, and the second way is or the second thing you have to do is I think you have to apply to graduate. Like those are like the only two things that you absolutely have to do. Everything else is like student's choice.
So what happened if a student didn't go to NSO? Like, could they still schedule their classes?
There is still a it is very we have a very low population of
Mhm.
students who don't attend new student orientation.
Okay.
Like single digits. Like I could count them all on my two hands.
Mhm.
And that like is a pretty big that's a good accomplishment for us considering the fact that we're talking about 93, 94, 9,500 people who are coming to new student orientation. That's,
Right.
the size of the incoming class. Generally speaking, people who can't come to orientation have like a very legitimate reason. The most of them from this past summer
Mhm.
were students, international students who had visa issues and were so delayed that they arrived after the semester had already started.
Right.
In that instance, we still have a touch point with them. Um, they still like come to student orientation and transition programs, and we still help them individually because whether you're doing it in whether you're like late or whether you're
Right.
on time doing the student orientation, there's still many, many, many things that you need to know to be successful here, which is what our ultimate goal is. So
That's
the answer
awesome that
is
they get like an
yes, you have to come.
opportunity still to schedule their classes and like get the information that they're not able to get if they can't come.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part I mean, it's abbreviated, right?
Mhm.
And that is not the solution that we're looking for anybody. But in a worst case scenario, we'll help the students
You
as
always
best
have
we're
a
able to.
plan.
Yes.
So I guess for me, when I was here, I scheduled my classes in my academic building that I was going to be going to when I was a freshman. So how would like how do they still schedule their classes that way, or how do students schedule their classes?
Yeah, we had a big change to new student orientation in summer 2025. And I'm joined today by my colleague Becki. And when Becki comes on, you're going to hear Becki talk about all the details. But what I'll tell you right now is that um, part of new student orientation, we broke new student orientation into a 3-step process. There are things that students need to do asynchronously using their NSO task list,
Mhm.
and there are that's the first step. The second step is that students will meet with an academic advisor in their college and schedule their courses, and that happens virtually before the student
Okay.
comes to orientation, and then a student comes to the physical in person new student orientation, and we offer those in um, basically in June, July, and August. The in person programs that's at the University Park campus. It varies across the Commonwealth, but so in the new model of new student orientation, which our listeners right now would be preparing for,
Mhm.
they will meet with an advisor and schedule courses before coming to orientation.
Okay.
Ask me what my favorite part about that is.
What's your favorite part about it?
That they come to new student orientation and we are able to say something to them they're like, "Well, what do I do? I have a couple of minutes of free time." And we're able to say, "Okay, pull up your class schedule and like go find your classroom building." And to see how many students were genuinely excited about that last summer
Mhm.
was really cool. And then another cool side effect is that when they're here, and then they still have an opportunity to meet with their academic college during new student orientation,
Mhm.
and they're sitting next to somebody and they're like, "Hey, Delilah, what class are you in?" And then they're like looking to see if they have any of the similar classes. And then they
Mhm.
might have made a new friend in a new way or a new connection in that way because they know that they're in a class with someone that they're at new student orientation with.
Yeah, I wish I had that because I feel like when you come the first day, what I did when I was the first year is I walked around the campus just like to find my classes. But I guess I wish I had that during NSO because then I got like some free time I could have done with like my parents. They
Yeah.
could have walked with me to classes too. So
You probably still got lost on the first day, right?
100% I
Yeah.
used Google Maps for a lot of my like to find a lot of my class buildings.
Yeah, it's a good tip, right?
It is a good tip.
Yeah,
I use Google
you
Maps.
put your earbuds in,
Yes.
and then, like, have Google Maps give you the walking directions so people think you're listening to your favorite podcast,
Yeah.
but indeed you're getting walking directions. A good tip.
That is a good tip. How do you schedule NSO?
A great question. So students have to accept their offer of admission, and after they accept their offer of admission, basically the next business day, they'll start to get email communication from about new student orientation. The first step is that the students have to access their NSO task list.
Mhm.
The NSO task list is meant to be a very comprehensive list of things that students have to do, from making a reservation to new student orientation, to instructions on how to upload a photo for their Penn State ID card,
Mhm.
to receiving instructions about what immunization records have to be submitted to the university. So it's pretty detailed and very comprehensive. We generally start to accept new student orientation reservations like in early April.
Mhm.
And students do that via their NSO task list. So students are in complete control of what's like they see the options available to them based on their semester of admission and their academic college, and they choose a program and a time frame that works for them, and then they make the reservation on the NSO task list. They're able to add, in most cases, they're able to add up to 2 guests to attend with them. So if they were trying to bring family members with them, they would be able to do that. And once we get family member information, we start to send information about new student orientation to those family members who were added to the guest reservation.
Okay, so you can only bring 2 guests. Is that like Are there events where it's just the 2 guests only, or are there events where you can also have guests, like, that you can bring from outside of the 2 that you select?
The answer is 2.
Only 2?
Yeah. There's, um there's a lot of students and limited space,
Mhm.
and the best way we can, provide the opportunity for a family member is to limit the number of guests who can come. So, we do limit it to 2 guests per student, um, which I know sometimes makes for some tough decisions.
Mhm.
Also, while I'm listening for my parents and family friends, when you get here, we're only able to issue 1 parent and family guide per student, so you have to share or visit the electronic version online. But those are some things that are just like some real limitations of, um, what's available.
Right. What would you say what's one misconception students have about NSO?
Um, Probably that they think it's gonna be like every other visit they've ever been on.
Okay.
Like, ever did you go to a lot of college visits?
I only went to around 2.
You went to around 2.
Yeah, I only
Yeah.
or 2 or 3,
So
probably.
you visited a couple of schools and then you decided on Penn State?
Yeah, so I was gonna go to another school, and then I didn't get in, so I applied to Penn State because I was like big school communications, and then I ended up loving it. I actually committed the day that I came for accepted students day.
Yeah. So I think that one of the biggest misconceptions is that people think like, "Oh, I've already been on a visit. I don't need to go to new student orientation." And the difference
Right.
there is you do. One is that everybody wants a class schedule,
Mhm.
right? And that's certainly an important piece of it. But also I think that you learn about and take in the environment and the information differently when you know that this is the place that you're coming to. And like, you're thinking about how you're interacting with the person sitting next to you differently because they could be, a classmate or a friend or a roommate or something like that. Somebody, an old colleague of mine once told me that, basically, like, if we think about the college admissions process and we have the admissions like, through the admissions process, the admissions counselors and the admissions team is, like, selling you on all the reasons why you want this place, right? And
Mhm.
that's good and important work, and then you come to orientation and, we're like have you ever bought a car before?
No.
Well, when you buy a car, like, there's the salesman who's, like, selling it to you,
Right.
and then there's, like, this little tiny opportunity where someone gets in and, like, shows you what all the buttons do, like, how to control the radio or how to connect your phone, and, like, that's what we're doing at orientation. Like, we're actually gonna take it a little deeper and then um, show you the details that we weren't able to tell you about in the admissions process, right? Like what the schedule builder is. You don't
Yeah,
need to
I had
know.
no idea before NSO.
Right. Schedule builder is something that you will use as a student. You don't really need to know about it as the process of um the admissions process, but you do need to know about it as a student. And so that's one example of like how we drill in a little bit differently.
Right.
I think the other pieces is that I don't know if this is a misconception or like a piece of advice that I would give to everybody is
Mhm.
that everybody is at new student orientation, and it's the only time everybody else is going to be at new student orientation. And so I think that like it's really important for students to come in with that mindset and like that open mind and like remember that the person sitting next to you either like doesn't want to be here or is super nervous, like probably having many of the same feelings that you are. And it would be really cool if everybody knew that and then, like, took a chance and said, like, "Oh, hey, I'm Katie, nice to meet you. Like, where are you from?" Or, like, "What's your high school mascot?" or something. So, remembering that, like, we're all in this together, like, literally as we're going through and preparing for college.
It's funny because I still see the same people that I had NSO with. I still see some of the people on campus.
Yeah, do you have a Snapchat group chat?
No, I see
No.
them through like I have an internship on campus and I
Yeah.
see them through like the um I guess they're in like the fan club of the internship that I'm part of
Oh, that's
or like
fancy.
the sports that I work.
What's the internship?
I work for Penn State Athletics, event management.
Okay, so what's your sport?
I'm women's volleyball and wrestling.
Fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they are in the fan club of those sports, and that's where you see them.
Yeah, I see them in like the I'm not sure what the name is, but I see them like behind me and like I'll turn around and I'm like, oh, he was in my NSO group or she was in my NSO group. So
Yeah.
it's funny.
That is funny, and that's happening to just you,
Hmm.
like, as a regular student coming to orientation. That's so cool. It's
Yeah.
also happening to orientation leaders everywhere. Orientation leaders, Becky will tell you more about them too, but they're, like, the student leaders that we hire to work with us in the summer, and they, like, host the students throughout new student orientation.
Mhm.
And some of my favorite things are when former orientation leaders reach out to me to tell me in like the most random situations that they have encountered a student who was in their orientation leader group. It just happened from someone from like 2014. So like more than 10 years ago, I got an email last week from someone who was like, I just ran into someone in Baltimore who we realized was
Right.
in my orientation leader group.
I feel like you wouldn't expect that though, going to such a big school. Like I wouldn't expect to ever see people on campus, but then because rushing from class to class, there's so many people, but I see so many people that I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a small world. You can do a lot of cool things here.
So for NSO, do you get to pick the day that you go or is it assigned?
Not assigned. The you the student has choice.
Mhm.
There are only 14 programs. Only 14. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? 14 sounds, I don't know if it sounds like a lot or a little to you, but we used to do so many programs, like up to 40 of them
I do remember
yeah.
there was so many.
Yeah, so we've really reduced the number of programs that are available to even be offered. So students have choice within our reservation system. So when a student logs in to make their reservation, they will see from a list um, the number of options for them to attend the in-person new student orientation, and they have to choose one of those that's available. If it's not available to them, if there's like not a day that's available or a program that's available, it's either full or not available to them based on their academic college. Because
Okay.
sometimes there's a situation where not every college is seeing students every day, and
Mhm.
so we have to only present ones where the academic college is available.
Okay, so you really cut it down from a lot to only 14.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
And now we're bringing more students
Mhm.
to each orientation program.
How many students is there? Are there?
Do you think a big number will stress people out or not?
No, I don't think so. I mean, people know, I guess, getting accepted that they're already coming to a big institution.
Yeah. We would see up to about 650 people in each orientation program, and 650 students, and then we add on the two parent families
Right.
first for each student. Um, but that group of 650 is only together in one space like once or twice. Most of the time during orientation, you're spending it in a smaller group with your orientation leader, and the orientation leaders have like 24 or 25. Um, maybe max of students, no more than 30 students. So each orientation leader with a much smaller number to hopefully make it feel less like a number.
Okay, yeah, I feel like that's how I feel as a whole here. Like I feel like it's such a big school, and then like every class that I have that's like a little bit smaller, I end up seeing the same people over and over again, which is nice. I feel like it's the same as NSO.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah,
You can build a really special community here.
I agree. And when is NSO for this for the people that don't know?
For the people who don't know and they're admitted to Penn State in either the summer or fall. NSO happens in June, July, and August in person new student orientation. They can access their task list in March. We accept reservations starting in April. And the task list has activities for them to do throughout that
Mhm.
whole time frame. But the in-person new student orientation is either in June, July, or August.
Amazing. Well, thank you for talking to me, Katie.
You're welcome. It was so fun.
Nice talking to you.
I can't wait for you to talk to Becki.
Me too. Hello. Now we have Becky. Becky, would you like to tell me about more about what you do?
Sure. My name is Becky. I am the Associate Director for New Student Orientation here in Student Orientation Transition Programs. So, what I do in my role is I provide a lot of leadership on the logistics and planning and execution of new student orientation at the University Park campus.
Awesome. Katie told me you were going to tell me about students scheduling their courses.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk a little bit more about that because this is something that is new.
Mhm.
We revamped our new student orientation model at University Park last summer. Katie kind of mentioned that. So if you are an incoming first year student and you have a sibling or a cousin or a neighbor or someone who's gone through new student orientation prior to 2025, your new student orientation is going to be different than what we did back then. I think you kind of talked
Yeah,
a little
mine
bit.
was very different than how it is now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the really big pieces of that is when students schedule their classes.
Mhm.
You scheduled your classes when you came to NSO in person. Now students schedule their classes virtually with an academic advisor in a small group or individually prior to coming to campus. So Katie talked about the task list being like this being your first entry point into checking off some of those important parts of new student orientation. The second piece would be that we call it an academic consultation and course scheduling window, which is when you have a consultation with an advisor in your academic college, and then you also schedule your classes on your own after you have that.
Will that academic advisor be your advisor when you have, or will it be?
Great question. Not necessarily. Sometimes you might have the same advisor once the semester starts that you had during NSO, but not always. So you might have the opportunity to meet an advisor during NSO and have a different advisor once the semester starts. But every student does have an academic advisor whenever they're here at
Okay.
Penn State. Yeah.
I know that when I had my academic, or I spoke to an academic advisor when I did it, I have a different academic advisor, but I still see the
Yeah.
same advisor, or I'll meet with him during like the office hours that I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
So I see them, familiar face to face on my
Yeah, for
face.
sure.
Katie also told me about orientation leaders. Can you tell me more about them?
Yes. So our orientation leaders at University Park are really a super key, super important part of not only making the day happen, but really helping new first year students transition into life as a Penn Stater. You know, our orientation leaders, they are current Penn State students, so they're the experts. They're the ones leading a lot of sessions and sharing a lot of information with the new students about how they can use resources, all the tips and tricks of being a Penn State student. So we have a team of, it depends on the year, but anywhere from like 24 to 30 orientation leaders who are all current Penn State students. And they lead sessions, and they're a really important part of our program.
How do they apply for that?
That's a great question. We recruit new orientation leaders every year. So every fall semester, we have our applications open, usually middle of November, applications open to be an orientation leader. And we can recruit until the end of January. And anyone is welcome to apply if they are undergraduate students who will have at least 24 credits by the end of the spring semester. So any major, anything like that, we love having a wide array of experiences and viewpoints on our orientation leader team because that's pretty representative of the Penn State student experience.
And are they trained?
Yes. Oh my gosh. We do so much training. We have training opportunities in the spring semester for the new cohort of orientation leaders. And then we also do training once the summer starts. So about 2 weeks before our first NSO program, we have the orientation leaders come and we train for 2 weeks on, you know, some of those detail things like they need to know what they're doing and when, you know, during NSO. But we also do a lot of teaching on resources and skills to be successful that they'll share with the incoming students.
That's awesome. So they get kind of like a 2-week training before they
Yes.
get thrown into it.
Yes, and we really make sure they're the experts on all kinds of information because, as I'm sure you can imagine, we get a lot of questions at
Lot of
NSO.
questions, and it's nice when they have the answers to like
Yes.
a question that they might not have known, but now they do know based on the training.
Yes, 100%.
So what would you say that's something unique about Penn State's NSO?
Ooh, good question. I think off the top of my head, I can think of two things. First, I think here at the University Park campus, it's pretty special that students have the opportunity to stay overnight in a residence hall as part of NSO. That really gives you a good glimpse into what it's like to live in a residence hall. Most students don't have any experience with that. So being able to kind of see what it's like in one of our residence halls and have that is really
And does it still get
important.
randomly assigned who you live with?
For NSO, yes. So that's another thing too. The roommate that you have for NSO might not be the roommate that you have once the semester starts. You know, we randomly assign for um, new student orientation. And I think another really unique part about New Student Orientation at University Park is
Mhm.
that we have an interactive musical theater performance as part of NSO.
I do remember that.
Yes, I'm sure you do. It is called Results Will Vary. And it is a interactive musical theater performance that was written by Penn State students for Penn State students about the Penn State student experience. It's so much fun. There's some crowd interaction involved. They're learning a lot through Results Will Vary. Students learn a lot about the resources that we have, um, some tips on how to stay healthy and safe on campus. It's a really fun way to learn some of that information that isn't just like a PowerPoint presentation.
Right. What's your favorite part about NSO?
I am a big Results Will Vary fan. You will hear me singing some of the songs from it throughout, you know, in my personal life. I'm singing all those songs all the time. But I think my favorite part of new student orientation is, and it might sound a little cheesy, but it really is my favorite part, is being able to see students interact with each other, and start to form some of those connections. Like, my favorite thing is when we are at NSO and I see two students like chatting with each other and sharing like Snapchat information
Right.
or contact information or something. Like, I love being able to see students make connections with other students and start to build their
I think that's a
community.
way for them to, when they come in here, if like they don't know anyone or like they
Yeah.
don't know who they're living with, it's like a nice opportunity for them to be like, okay, I know somebody at least
Yes,
that I'm going to see on campus, regardless of where they are.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think that's important. What would you say are some popular questions from students or like in their families?
That's a good question. Um, I think a lot of students have questions about getting involved on campus
Mhm.
and how they can make friends. I know that's
Involvement fair.
involvement fair. Shout out involvement fair.
Yes.
Um, Making friends on campus can be kind of challenging. What did you do to make friends?
I know right when I came here, I had a couple people that I knew from high school. A couple of my like childhood best friends went
Yeah.
here or came with me. But I got involved pretty
Yeah.
quickly. I joined like as many clubs as I could in my major specifically, and then I just went to the involvement fair at the hub, the one that they do like for 2 days or something like that. And I went with people that I had met, or I was just like, "Do you want to go?" And
Yeah.
then I just signed up, and yeah.
Yeah, and students are always so concerned about getting involved, finding their people, finding where they belong on campus. So I think we get a lot of questions about that. And we do have a whole session for students where we talk about some of those ways to get involved on campus, whether it's Greek life, getting involved with athletics, clubs and organizations, working on campus is another way to get involved. So we kind of cover a lot of those different things. So I think that's a really big one for students. And a question that we get a lot of times whenever it comes to like questions from families,
Mhm.
we get a lot of questions about what to pack and what to leave at home.
How should they prepare for
Oh,
this?
yeah, I know. Oh, so how to prepare for NSO? We recommend that they wear good shoes
Mhm.
because they're gonna be doing a lot of walking.
A lot of
Yep,
walking.
you're walking. Bring a water bottle, completing all of the items on the task list that are required
Right.
before orientation will really help set you up for success. That's one nice thing about the task list is there's deadlines on some of those items, and if students complete them before the deadline and before they come to orientation, once they're here, they're ready to rock and roll because they have all of the information that they need.
So what if they don't complete it by the deadline? Do they get like an extension or they have to complete?
We'll send them
Yeah.
some reminders.
Right.
Yeah, we'll send them some reminders to make sure that they're able to do it. Yeah.
Okay. And then will my Commonwealth campus have NSO? I don't know if I asked that correctly, but will the Commonwealth campus have NSO? Other Commonwealth campuses?
That's a great question. Yeah, new student orientation is required for all first year students at all Penn State campuses,
Okay.
all undergraduate students at all Penn State campuses. So yes, all students get to go to new student orientation, but what that experience looks like varies by campus. Every campus has its own unique traditions and resources and things to learn. So we talked a little bit about what NSO looks like here at the University Park campus, but it might look very different at different Commonwealth campuses.
So would there be an NSO for like a 2+2 student? Like once they leave campus, they come to another one. Do they have to do the NSO experience?
New student orientation is not required for change of campus students who started at a Commonwealth campus and come to a different one. Another population that kind of fits into that would be transfer students, so students who started at another institution and are transferring to Penn State.
Mhm.
Some campuses require orientation for transfer students, some campuses don't. So here at the University Park campus, for example, new student orientation is not required for transfer students, but if you go to a Commonwealth campus, your orientation might be required as a transfer student. And for change of campus students, it is not required to attend orientation if you're changing campus to University Park. But we do still offer orientation opportunities, of course, because there's still a lot to learn being a new member of our community. So we offer virtual orientations for transfer students, for change of campus students that they're able to participate in so they can learn more about University Park before they get here.
Is that something that's would you say like the virtual sessions are popular among the transfer students or the change of campus students?
Oh my gosh, yes. Sometimes they like max out. Like you can
Really?
only fit so many people in a Zoom room. And so we have to set
Right.
the capacity of how many people we can allow to sign up for one of those programs. And sometimes they do fill up. So yeah, there's a lot of really great information that's shared during those sessions. And, of course, like transfer students, they know how to kind of do college because they've done college somewhere else, but they're new to Penn State, or change of campus students. They know Penn State, but they're new to the University Park campus. So we really tailor the messages that those students get in their orientation programming to make it really relevant to their unique experience.
Are there any like events on campus for them when they come?
Yes, yes, yes,
Or is it just
yes.
virtual?
Nope, we have an in-person program. It's usually the Sunday before the semester starts here at University Park. It's our change of campus and transfer student welcome, where there's some information sharing. There's a presentation that talks about some stuff, but a big component of that program is having them get to know each other as well. So there's kind of like a social component to that welcome event, because that's a really important part of being new to any community, whether you're a first year student, transfer student, change campus student, is finding your people. And so we give them the opportunity to do that at the in-person welcome event the day before the
So
semester starts.
have kind of like an opportunity to meet people that are in the same boat as them.
Yes,
in a way? Like
100%.
they're technically first year students in a way also.
They're new to our
Yeah.
they're new to our community, and they're adjusting and learning. And yeah, it's great to know other people who are going through a similar transition as you.
What feedback have you gotten about like first year students and their NSO experience?
That's a great question. And we do, send out a survey. So we get lots of good feedback from students and their families. Overall, I think one thing that was really interesting about the survey feedback this past summer was a lot of students were so much less stressed and didn't find NSO to be a stressful experience because they had already scheduled their classes in advance, right?
It was stressful for me. I know when I got there, I
Yeah.
was like, where am I going? What am I doing?
Yep.
How am I getting my classes? Then it's like when people would have their program before I would, or their like date before mine, I was like, did I now did I
Yep.
not get the classes that I was supposed to have? Like that's what I
It's
was
so
concerned about.
stressful. Yeah, it used to be really stressful to have to schedule classes in person at NSO, but we removed that. And so our feedback from students really reflected that this past summer. So students were able to engage with the programming and the campus and everything in a different way without feeling like that
Very
panic.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That that is the most
Relatable.
overwhelming
Yeah.
part. I feel like because then they're like, where am I supposed to go? Like the class wise and like location wise too. Like you want to get classes that are kind of close, so back to
100%.
back. So I feel like that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what personal advice do you have for students that are heading to NSO?
I think my biggest piece of advice is to keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I mentioned Results Will Vary, our interactive musical theater show. If you heard that and you like cringed at it, that's not for everyone. I totally understand that. Go into it with an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you hate doing icebreakers and you're so nervous about having to do icebreakers with your orientation leader or small group, keep an open mind. Engage in the program with an open mind. And I think you will be able to learn some unexpected things about yourself and about campus and how we can really shape your Penn State experience. So keeping that open mind is so important.
I feel like I had to keep an open mind when I
Yeah.
came because in beginning I was like, well, I didn't get to pick my roommate for
Yep.
NSO overnight. So that freaked me out
Can be scary.
and scared me because I was like, okay, well, I can't remember my friends. So it's like a good opportunity if you're coming into school, like random, that you randomly select a roommate.
hmm
But I guess that was just nerve wracking because it's like you don't know who you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's really pushing you outside that comfort zone.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
there's a number of pieces of orientation that push you outside your comfort zone. And part of that is by design because as a first year student, you are going to be outside your comfort zone constantly. So kind of getting some of that practice at NSO on, meeting new people and getting outside your comfort zone is really important.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Becky.
Of
I
course.
enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We appreciate being able to talk about new student orientation, and we hope to see everyone who's listening in the fall semester.
Follow us on our socials at PSU Admissions, and if you have any questions, you can always email us at admissions@psu.edu.